Unreal Engine comes with 5 types of lights. All of the light actors can be accessed under the Add to menu under the Lights panel. Directional lights are lights that cast light from extreme or near infinite distances. Skylights capture the background of the scene and applies it to the scene's geometry. Directional lights and sunlights are generally used for large exterior scenes or to provide light and shadow through openings in the interior of a scene. Point lights are similar to a light bulb and cast light from a single point. Spotlights emit light from a single point in the direction of the cone limitation. Rect lights use a rectangular surface from which to emit light. Point lights, spotlights, and rect lights are generally used for small areas to define shapes and the overall look of a scene. All lights have 3 mobility settings. A static mobility setting means that the light cannot be changed in-game. This allows for baked lighting and faster rendering. Stationary mobility means that the light will only have bounced lighting and shadows from static geometry. Lights can change color and intensity in-game but cannot be moved. The movable mobility setting allows for the light to be totally dynamic, which also allows for dynamic shadowing. This allows for the slowest rendering but most flexibility in-game. This is the setting I'll use throughout this tutorial. Directional lights simulate light from a source that is infinitely distant, which makes using the directional light to simulate sunlight ideal. Rotating the light will change the shadow and lighting within the world. Rotating around the y-axis will provide a day-night cycle. In the Details panel, you can easily change the intensity and color of the light. In addition, we can change the temperature of the light. I've provided links to 2 articles talking about the Kelvin scale in the description. Basically, the lower the temperature of a light, the more orange and warm it is, and the higher the temperature of a light, the more blue and cool it is. I have provided a link to the Unreal Engine documentation where you can explore the rest of the options. Point lights work similarly to a real-world light bulb, emitting light in all directions from a single point. The point light will give us a radius within which the light will be visible and interact with the scene actors. In the Details panel, you can easily change the intensity and color of the light. You can also change the radius to provide a smaller or larger area that the light will affect. Moving the light will change the shadow and lighting within the world. The source radius will change the radius of the light itself, which will affect the shadow's sharpness. In addition, we can change the temperature of the light. Spotlights, like point lights, emit light from a single point. However, spotlights are controlled by the shape and scale of the inner cone angle and the outer cone angle. In the Details panel, you can easily change the intensity and color of the light. We can change the radius to determine how much of the scene will be illuminated by the light. We can also control the inner cone angle and the outer cone angle. The inner cone angle provides full brightness with the fall off and softening of the light as it moves toward the outer cone angle. Rotating and moving the light will change the shadow and lighting within the world. In addition, we can change the temperature of the light. Rect lights emit light from a rectangular plane with a defined width and height. Rotating and moving the light will change the shadow and lighting within the world. In the Details panel, you can easily change the intensity and color of the light. We can change the width and height to determine how much of the scene will be illuminated by the light. In addition, we can change the temperature of the light. Skylights captures the infinitely distant parts of the scene and then applies that to the scene as a light. This allows for the sky's appearance and lighting to match. Skylights do not actually work on their own. They rely on other lights in the scene. Typically, a directional light will also be added to the scene. In addition, you'll need to add a sky atmosphere component, a volumetric cloud component, or mesh with an is sky material. The quickest and easiest way to add any of these components is to use the environment light mixer. This is found under the Window drop-down menu. You can click on each of the tabs to import the needed components. In the light panel for the sunlight, you can turn on real-time capture, which allows for the sky's appearance and lighting to match. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you enjoyed this video about getting started using lights in UE5, then you're probably interested in environment art or game development. So if you're interested in these topics, you may also enjoy this video. Have a good day.